Many of the demonstrators at the border call themselves dreamers because they were deported to Mexico before the Federal Deferred Action, or so-called DREAM Act, went into effect. About 24 of the protesters are now in U.S. custody and are asking for humanitarian parole. Joining me with a closer look at what this means and the possible ramifications is immigration attorney Lilyette Velasquez. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Lilyette, what can you tell us about this group of protesters? Do they have any legal documents to be in the U.S.?
Well, they don't. They're either kids or adults that were removed from the country, maybe deported. If the parents were deported to Mexico, then the kids would follow. Some of the kids are U.S. citizens. You have mixed families. And so they do not have documents. They want to come back to the U.S. Some of them want to apply for deferred action because they were not here when it was implemented, and they feel that they have a chance to apply for it because there's no deadline for that. And also they're basically turning themselves in as a protest for the failure of the U.S. government to pass immigration reform that would benefit millions of people. And I think that the idea behind it is if the Congress had enacted immigration reform, we would be in the U.S. We would not have been removed, or we would not have left to be with our parents who were deported.
So they're making a statement about Congress's inaction. But as an immigration attorney, tell us more about this humanitarian parole and asylum. Are they the same thing?
No, they're not the same thing. The political asylum obviously is an international document, the Refugee Convention, to which the U.S. is a signatory. And we are a country of asylum seekers. I mean, we're known for a long time to do that. In this particular case, they're using the asylum process to get in the door, because once you apply for asylum at the port of entry, you must be interviewed by an asylum officer. If you demonstrate a credible fear of persecution based on one of the 5 grounds of asylum, then you will then be paroled in, and then you can go before the judge and present your case in full with all witnesses, documentation.
So the humanitarian parole comes after the asylum pitch?
That is correct.
I see. Okay, how effective is that? Do you think they'll be able to get in this way?
Well, I think that if you look in the short term, it's probably very effective, because eventually if they do get paroled in and they're allowed to pursue their asylum claims before the court, that could take 2, 3, or 4 years. And to them, they may say, it worked. We were able to be reunited with our families. Maybe immigration reform will pass. If we're allowed to be in the U.S., we'll be physically there, so we stand a chance. So I think they're looking at the moment just the short term. In the long term, well, you know, what's going to happen in the U.S. 3 or 4 years from now?
This event was modeled on similar efforts last year in Arizona and Texas. How will the demonstrations going on here this week sort of help that national effort move forward?
Well, it is part of the national movement. Certainly we had Arizona, we had 9 people come in. It was a small number. Then we have Laredo, Texas, 30 people. Now, for the Otay port of entry, we're looking at more than 130 people. So we see that the ones crossing through California is a larger group. But we also see momentum building in other states like Oregon, North Carolina, vigils taking place, hunger strikes. So there's a lot of support for what the dreamers are trying to do, trying to come in through the asylum process.
What sort of legal risk is there for these people that are demonstrating in this manner?
The legal risk to them individually is that they are abusing the system, that they're not truly asylum seekers under the Refugee Convention, and that they abused the process and they defrauded the U.S. government and they don't deserve any benefit. In the long run, I mean, you know, if they apply for asylum and it was denied and now they become eligible, will this have an impact on their application? So it's too early to tell.
It's definitely high stakes. If the immigration laws don't change, as these people would like them to, how does this agenda move forward?
Very slowly and painfully, because, I mean, we're seeing that part of this effort to get immigration reform approved is having hundreds of people or dozens of people coming to the ports asking for asylum. So they're going to get the attention of Washington. They're going to get attention of lawmakers who will say, oops, maybe we should do something about this. CBP is screaming because of all the people that are coming to the ports of entry asking for asylum. We need to do something.
A little attention to the subject matter. Lilyette Velasquez, thank you very much.
Thank you.